One of my heroes in the world of photography, might be yours too, was Ansel Adams. Never got a chance to meet him, but I wish I could have. He was an amazing photographer. Would go up and trek into like the Yosemites, spend all day to take one single photo on a wet plate and process it on site. Now that's photographic dedication, I want to tell you. I like the effect called the Ansel Adams effect, where it kind of recreates that chromatic value films that he used. And that's what we're going to try to do, but with a twist. Open up this image right here. All right, got some nice moo-moo cows. That's what my uncle used to call them when I was growing up. All right, got the cows. I want to take this image back 100 years. I want to go wet plate Ansel Adams photography. I want to use the Ansel Adams effect. Understand something about the Ansel Adams effect. It's been out on the internet. It's been used in Photoshop for probably 15 years. What I'm about to do to the image might not surprise you. You may have already done it. But images break down based on what they are, and well, actually, let's get started. I've got the background right here. This button right there is the channel mixer. Now, if you are in the Essentials workspace, you should see that. But if not, you can click the little half moon icon down here and get the same thing. Let's go ahead and click Channel Mixer. Here's the Ansel Adams effect. Go to monochrome. So now we have a standard grayscale image. Go into red, green, and blue and change the values to 160, 140, and negative 200. Now look at those clouds. Let me close this for a second. I love that kind of effect. But here's the thing. Every time you see this effect demonstrated, they're using images where it will look good. What are those? Rocks, water, sky, clouds. When you get down here, that's totally blown out. And it's like, oh man, I don't like that. Well, I don't either. But I want to make it more Ansel Adams, but I do that with the skies. But what about this stuff down here? I want more detail. Let's go back in here again. What do? Well, you have a constant option down here. And if you move this, we can change. You say, well, okay, you got the grass back, but everything else looks like it's like midnight or something, and I agree. So that's not going to work. I'm going to double-click on constant. That'll bring it back to default. I've come up with what I define as a compromise, all right? And it is a compromise. I want that fantastic sky up there, but I need more details in the foreground. And normally, chromatic films might not have captured as much as I'm going to put in here. So this is a hybrid compromise on the Ansel Adams effect. Start out. Let's close this again for a second. Make your colors white and black. Then, pick up your gradient tool. Make sure by clicking this button right here that you are in this option right here, which is the foreground to background gradient. And make sure you are on the linear gradient. Adjustment layers have masks. And what I'm going to do is apply that gradient to the mask. The mask will control what areas of the image get the effect. And I'm going to get right about here. Okay, see my cursor's right about there. And I'm going to drag down to about there. So let's start right about here. I'm going to hold the Shift key to make sure it's nice and straight. Go right to about there and let go. Now that all by itself is actually kind of neat. You've got this fantastically chromatic sky in the background, and we have the cows back into the future. But that's not what I want to do. I need more Ansel Adams kind of look here. So we're going to add a second adjustment layer. Now this is where it changes. Come over here to this button right here. That's for the black and white adjustment right there. Click that button. If I begin moving these things around, you will notice it's changing that area. You say, well, it's because of the mask. There is no mask on black and white, but I found something out that I thought was very interesting. If an image is grayscale, the black and white adjustment will have no impact on it because it's in shades of gray. So, if you notice, anything I do is only going to change the area that's masked out on this one down here. Since we have control of colors, let's play around here. I'm going to change over here my red, let's go ahead and do it the easy way by typing it in, to 250. My yellow to a negative 20. And my green to around a 155. Now, I've already kind of figured out the numbers that I need here, but once we get that done, we can then begin playing around and adjusting them lighter, darker, whatever you think you need to make this work. And now that I see this, we have a little bit too much up here, so we're going to redo the gradient. You can play around with this all day long. Maybe something like that. So with just, let me go ahead and turn this off, and let's go ahead and disable the mask. There's the original Ansel Adams effect, which works, and it really does, on rocks and sky and clouds and water. But it doesn't work here. So what I did was I added a mask, which took the effect completely away, put that back into color, and then I added the black and white up here to bring in that grayscale information in the area that was masked out. It is a hybrid. I understand that. It's not a pure Ansel Adams type of photograph, but it gives us the best of both worlds. Channel mixer, black and white. In the next lesson, we'll apply this same technique to a portrait and have a little bit more fun. On to the next.